Hi, good evening, and welcome. My name is Mina Chang, and I am Chief Medical Officer and Hospice Medical Director. It's a pleasure to have you here with us tonight. Today, we will gather and honor and remember our departed loved ones or honor a special individual. I wanted to first thank our you all for being here and for people who are attending tonight's ceremony. I want to thank Angela Pack, who's a field representative, Office of Assembly Member Tim Grayson. I would also like to thank Michael Beveridge, who will be performing the tap ceremony tonight after we read the names of our veterans. Thank you, Frank Giovanni, for playing the music tonight. Thank you, City of Martinez and City of Martinez Public Works Department for creating the space for us here to honor our loved ones. Thank you to Creekside Church, Martinez Police Department, the National Charity League, and to our donors, and especially Red Meat Associates, Mrs. Peggy Hornbuckle, Mr. Greg Moore, Mr. Kevin Berry, and Mrs. Madeline Davis. I wanted to highlight some of our recent accomplishments and ongoing services. We're proud to provide hospice services to over 1,500 patients and families each year, with 32 residents from Martinez benefiting from our care in the current year. Our community based palliative care program has shown significant growth, having served over 78 patients. Founded in 1977, Hospice East Bay is the only not for profit hospice located in Contra Costa County. We have been committed to providing high quality, compassionate care to all those needing our services, regardless of the ability to pay for it. Our service area includes Contra Costa County, Alameda County, and Solano counties. We are very proud of the unique programs we can offer due to donors like you who support us through events like our Tree of Light ceremonies. Some of these programs include music therapists who use music as a therapeutic tool to reduce pain and anxiety and bring some joy to the families. We have our veteran centered care program led by Noga. With your support, we have a full time social worker to help veterans and their families through their unique end of life needs, including getting the support and benefits they have earned through the services that they have provided to our country. Bereavement services are now both in person and virtual, and we are very proud that these services are available to anyone in our community, regardless of whether their family was on service with us. We also operate 6 thrift shops that play a vital role in supporting our programs, and we gratefully accept donations of gently used items. To enhance convenience, we have established an online store where you can go and shop from the comfort of your home or while on the go. I also want to highlight a recent opportunity of mine. I was caring for a patient at the Bruns House. This is a inpatient facility inside a home in Alamo, and there we provide symptom management and support for patients who have uncontrolled symptoms during the course of their journey alongside the whole team of our hospice services, including our spiritual care counselors, our social worker, music therapists, and volunteers, just to name a few. There was a lovely lady I had the honor caring for. She was a Navy veteran in the 1970s, a Vietnam Navy veteran, and who came to us, and I had the honor of caring for her in the last days of life. And within the first 24 hours she was with us, we were able to have the whole team of services come to her, including our music therapist. She had a pinning ceremony, as well as her spouse was able to receive a pinning ceremony by three female veterans who work or are employees with Hospice East Bay. While she was a Navy veteran, we had female Air Force veteran employee, a Navy veteran, a female Navy veteran employee, and a female Army veteran employee, all present to support her and honor her with the pinning ceremony. She was very honored, as well as her spouse. And so this was such a lovely story or opportunity for us to honor her. We're honored to be a part of this community. And if you have any questions, please come see me or any one of our staff or go to our website, www.hospiceeastbay.org. Thank you for joining us today and your continued support of Hospice East Bay and our commitment to the communities that we serve. Now, Angela Pack will be coming up here to give a few proclamations.
Hi, good evening. My name is Angela from the Office of Assemblymember Grayson, and I'm here to present the Certificate of Recognition. I want to join with others in congratulating you on your 38th annual Tree of Light celebration in Martinez. The Tree of Light ceremonies have offered members of the community a way to honor the lives of United States veterans, friends, and loved ones. Your dedication to provide end of life care to those in need as well as their families is commendable. On behalf of the people of the 15th Assembly District, congratulations.
Down here the river meets the sea. In the sticky heat I feel you open up to me. Love blows in out of nowhere, baby, just like a hurricane, and it feels like rain. Feels like rain. Underneath the stars, right next to you. I'm wondering who you are, baby, and how do you do? How do you do, babe? Clouds blowing across the moon, and the wind howls out your name. It feels like rain. Feels like rain. Gonna make that bridge tonight, baby. Across Lake Pontchartrain. It feels like rain. It feels like rain. So batten down the hatches, baby, and wear your heart out on your sleeve. It looks like we're in for stormy weather, but you know it. That ain't no cause for us to leave. Just lie here in my arms. Let it wash away all your pain. Feels like rain. Feels like rain.
Hi, I'm Vicki and I'm a receptionist at Hospice East Bay. The poem I'm going to read is called Shipwrecked. It's an excerpt taken from a blog attributed to G. Snow. As for grief, you will find it comes in waves. When the ship is first wrecked, you're drowning with wreckage all around you. Everything is floating around you, and it reminds you of the beauty and the magnificence of the ship that was and is no more. And all you can do is float. You find some piece of wreckage and you hang on for a while. Maybe it's some physical thing, or maybe it's a happy memory or a photograph. Maybe it's a person who is floating, and for a while all you can do is float and stay alive. In the beginning, waves are 100 feet tall and crash all over you without mercy. They come 10 seconds apart and don't even give you time to catch your breath. And all you can do is hang on and float. After a while, maybe weeks, maybe months, you'll find the waves are still 100 feet tall, but they come further apart. And when they come, they still crash all over you and wipe you out. But in between, you can breathe, you can function, and you never know what's going to trigger the grief. It might be a song or a picture, a street intersection, the smell of a cup of coffee. It can be just about anything, and the waves come crashing. But in between the waves, there is life. Somewhere down the line, it's different for everybody, and you'll find that the waves are only 80 feet tall or 50 feet tall. And while they still come, they come further apart, and you can see them coming. An anniversary, a birthday, or Christmas, or landing at O'Hare. You still see it coming, and for the most part, you prepare yourself. And when it washes all over you, you know that somehow you will again come out on the other side, soaking wet, sputtering, but still hanging on to some tiny piece of the wreckage, but you will come out. The waves never stop coming, and somehow you really don't want them to, but you learn that you will survive, and other waves will come, and you will survive them too.
Thank you, Vicki. My name is Mats. I've been with Hospice for a little over 8 years. It is my true honor to read these names. I want people to know Noga and I do practice these names, but as we know, names are not always the easiest to know how to pronounce. So, what I ask you to do is hear the name when I read your loved one's name in the voice you want to hear, and remember it that way. Thank you. Alice, Pam, Jeannie, and Lewis. Michael Allen. The Alperin Bonvecchio family. Fontella E. Annis. Vicky Anselmo. Pete Asuncion. Peanut Asuncion. Avelina Asuncion. Louis Ball. Ava Ball. Ava Barnes. Cecilia Berry. Robert Bennett. Rick Bergstrom. Zachary Bobrovsky. Cindy Bosey. Josephine Bransaw. Charles W. Brown. Donald Bunch. Joy Carey. Vernon H. Carpenter. Don Cavanes. John Chauvet. Gary Clevenger. Dennis Clough. Donna Cogan. Enid Cohen. Marcella Coleridge. Nancy Courser. Barack Cowling. Beth Crawford. Marcia Davis. Betty Deaton. DJ. Ken and Eric Elford. Carol Engel. May Espinoza. Marie Etchinson. Rose Ferrarini. Ray Ferrarini Sr. Ray Ferrarini Jr. Blanche Ferrario. Pat Eileen Fisher. Mark Faust. Susan Lee Freggy. Shannon Friel. Valerie Rose Fulton. The Galloway family. George Gamba. Susan Gamba. The Gardanella family. Obaki Gayam. Debbie Gurrow. Virginia Gill. Tish Perry Gill. Kathy Go. Nancy Goldworthy. Michael Stephen Hamilton. Joy Harry. Vivian Hartz. Edna Kitty Hay. Ralph Holte. Dolores Holte. Tom Holte. Kevin Hornbuckle. Karen Jones. Nicholas Allen Ivor Caffell. Frank J. Caffell II. Carol G. Caffell. Kathy Kelly. Loretta Kent. Flora Cush. Johnny LeBlanc. Carmen Lobo. Mary Jane Mann. Sharon Mann. Frank Malbrough. Tony Martinez. Rosemary Martinez, Mary C. Martinez, Donna Matthews, Laurel D. Moore, the Mustafa family, Robert P. Mechanic Sr., Robert P. Mechanic Jr., Kathleen Muller, Warren Muller Sr., Dennis Murphy, Phyllis O'Brien, Wakita and R.J. Odell, Laura Bell Owens, Tyson Pagador, Taylor Pagador, Karen B. Parrish, Alan B. Parrish, Edwin P. Parrish, Carlene Patinaud, Angelina Pepin, Dylan Paulson, Carol Ramirez Schroeder, Joe Ramirez, Betty Jane Rank, Ishmael Rodriguez, Marguerite Russo, Josie Sanchez, Marilyn Saunders, Dr. Howard Schneider, John Schirek, Glenn Sears Jr., Ray Slaney, Richard E. Spitzer, Robert B. Stegman, Doris L. Stegman, Robert J. Stegman, Mary C. Stegman, Clara E. Stegman, Dennis M. Swing, Craig Taccone, Con Tien, Ann Wallace, Alex Wallace, N. Eugene Webster, Ardice Webster, Nancy Webster, Brenda Webster, Amy Marie Wilhelmus, Jack Williams, Bill Weingarten, Gwen Weingarten, Rocky Winters, Jeff Wright, Kim Yeagers. I would now like to ask Noga to come up and read our names of veterans.
Good evening. As we gather tonight during this week of our 106th year celebrating Veterans Day, we recognize and remember all our veterans, those who have passed on over the years, as well as those who we've lost this year. From World War I, the war to end all wars, to today, and the current war now in the Middle East, our generations of warriors are aging in great numbers and passing away. Many of these veterans have served in times of war, World War II, Korea, and Vietnam, as well as the Middle East. As they pass, with them pass the stories of generations of service and of sacrifice. On this day, we gather in community to remember and to honor those of our loved ones who have served in the armed forces, as well as their families, those who have served in peacetime and those who have served in war. For our World War II veterans, as it is often said, the greatest generation, we remember you with pride and with honor. We thank you. For our Korean War veterans, our warriors of a forgotten war, we remember. And we thank you for your sacrifice and your courage, and we honor you. For our Vietnam veterans, our brothers and sisters who fought 2 wars, one in Vietnam and one back home, and for some who are still fighting. It is our privilege and an honor to care for you. You who have sacrificed so much and given so dearly. We remember and we honor you and thank you. For our Gulf War veterans and those who served in Afghanistan and Iraq in our recent wars, you who served and sacrificed in your generation's war, we recognize that many of you still suffer from your injuries incurred during your service in the War on Terror. And we honor you and we recognize those sacrifices. And tonight, we also recognize that there is once again war in the Middle East and that more young men and women have been asked to serve and to sacrifice once more. For all our men and women who served, you were and you are second to none. From Iwo Jima, Omaha Beach, and Normandy, to the frozen Chosin Reservoir, to the jungles of Vietnam, from Panama, Kosovo, Bosnia, Somalia, to Fallujah and Ramadi, Kabul and Kandahar, to Syria, Lebanon, as well as many other places and periods in time. We remember your service with pride, and we recognize and honor the weight of those sacrifices made. We honor you today and every day, and in the memory of all soldiers, sailors, airmen, guardsmen, and Marines, and all our veterans who are no longer with us, we thank you. Never forgotten. Calvin E. Adams, United States Marine. William Armstrong, U.S. Army. Andrew Bacalupi, Army Air Corps. Roland Bartolome, U.S. Navy. Dr. Anthony Berardoni, U.S. Army. Mario Baria, U.S. Coast Guard. George Blackman, Air Force and Royal Canadian Air Force. Lou Bola, U.S. Navy. Frank Bondi, U.S. Army. Patrick Boyle, U.S. Army. Raymond Bradshaw, U.S. Army. Robert Botek, U.S. Army. Richard Carlson, U.S. Army. Carl Casey, U.S. Army. Louis Costello, U.S. Navy. Marty Castilla, U.S. Air Force. Louis Cola, U.S. Army. Dennis Cola, U.S. Army. Herbert Constance, U.S. Air Force. Charles Grout Jr., U.S. Navy. Joseph Doherty, U.S. Navy. Joe Davis, U.S. Army. Tim Del Ara, U.S. Army Airborne. Joseph DiMaggio, Jr., U.S. Marines. Charles Dorman, U.S. Army. James Duncan, U.S. Army. David Edward Ross, U.S. Navy. Victor Emerith, U.S. Army. Hurt Fairclough, U.S. Army. Les Fellner, U.S. Army. William Patrick Foley, Jr., U.S. Army. William Patrick Foley III, U.S. Navy. Neil Galvin, U.S. Navy. James Gillis, U.S. Army. Woodrow Gonzalez, U.S. National Guard. Raymond Gotcher, U.S. Navy. Gary Gould, U.S. Army. Kenneth Harold, U.S. Navy. Dale Hockland, U.S. Navy. Philip Hickey, veteran. Lloyd Hubert, U.S. Navy. Ralph Hubert Jr., U.S. Navy. Dr. Ken Hubert, U.S. Air Force. Calvin Adams, U.S. Marine. Jacob Jennings, U.S. Marine. Vernon Johnson, U.S. Army. Dick Kalber, U.S. Marine. Rudolph Kraft Jr., U.S. Air Force. Dean Friends, U.S. Air Force. Robert Cruz, U.S. Army. Robert Kenziger, U.S. Navy. Robert Leach, U.S. Army. Hoyt D. Lofton, U.S. Army. Edwin Spencer, U.S. Navy. George Mercot, U.S. Army. Ross Meyer, U.S. Air Force. Donald McCormick, U.S. Marine. George Mormon, U.S. Navy. Alan Orke, U.S. Army. Benito Orsini, U.S. Army. Lee Pizzola, U.S. Marine. David Pittman, U.S. Army. Lowell Polson, U.S. Air Force. Harold Rapp, U.S. Navy. Alan Resnick, U.S. Air Force. John Rezicki, veteran. Howard Ryder, U.S. Army. Bob Reichert, U.S. Marine. Ernest Rogers, U.S. Army. Dr. Ronald Weintraub, U.S. Army. Frank Rosensky, U.S. Navy. Lieutenant Myron Rode, U.S. Army. Ike Sines, U.S. Air Force. E.C. Sanders, U.S. Marine. Joseph Schneider, U.S. Army Air Corps. Al Simonson, U.S. Navy pilot. Harold Steinberg, U.S. Air Force. Ray Stevens, U.S. Navy. Hal Stice, U.S. Navy. Richard Sims, U.S. Army. Robert Tillison, U.S. Army. Dr. Zila Velnel, IDF Army. Dr. Captain Amos Velnel, IDF Army. George Mike Walsh, U.S. Navy. Dr. Lawrence Welter, U.S. Navy. Thomas Whitten, U.S. Army. Edward William Hunt, U.S. Army. James Wilson, U.S. Army. And Bill Weingarten, U.S. Air Force. Thank you.
Tiptoed in the room. I know you got to have your rest. She says, come lay beside me. I've been waiting since you left. She's sweet to me. Must be the luckiest man alive. Did I I tell you, baby, you are the joy of my life. First time I saw you, you took my breath away. Might not get to heaven, but I'll walk with an angel that day. Takes me by the hand, I am the luckiest man alive. And did I tell you, baby, you are the joy of my life. Some may have the riches, some may have the worldly things. Long as I have you, I treasure each and every day. Just take me by the hand, I am the luckiest man alive. And did I tell you, baby, you are the joy of my life. Did I tell you, baby, you are the joy of my life.
Thank you so much. And now it is my distinct honor to give you the Martinez Tree of Lights. So this concludes our ceremony, but I would like to give you all a little piece of advice. Pick a light up in that tree and choose that's the light that will make you remember your loved one. And as it's on every night during this holiday season, as you drive by, hopefully you'll look up on that light and think about the person you've loved and what they have meant to you. Thank you all for coming. We have some hot chocolate and cookies over there, but we very much appreciate you coming and attending our ceremony today. Thank you.